Welcome to Intimacy Evolution, the podcast that helps you enjoy deeper connection and more intimacy in your relationships. I'm Brianna Carey, relationship and intimacy coach, and together with my husband Mark, a licensed professional counselor, we're here to help couples to create the relationships they crave. Relationships evolve over time, and that's okay. Let's talk about it. Today's guest, Astrid, is a psychedelic sex witch who supports her clients through holistic sex coaching and microdose consulting. In this episode, Astrid shares the struggles she experienced being married at a young age and how getting divorced before 30 was actually the catalyst that sparked her journey to heal her inner feminine. If you have ever experienced rejection or the loss of a relationship, Astrid shares tips on different practices you can implement into your daily life to nurture your inner feminine. She also talks about the importance in shifting from being independent to interdependent in your relationships and how you can cultivate a healthy flow between the masculine and feminine energies. Do you ever feel like you and your partner are living parallel lives? Are you ready to make some changes and be more intentional with the time you spend together, not just sitting side by side on the couch, scrolling on your phone while the latest Netflix series plays in the background? If yes, then make sure you grab our free 4-step guide to help you create a weekly routine for reconnecting with your partner that will help you to create a deeper connection and enjoy more pleasure while doing so. Go to intimacyevolution.com and click on Relationship Guide to get your free download today. Now, let's get into the episode.
Today we have Astrid Eden. I am a psychedelic sex witch. So I do microdose consulting first and foremost. So I help people set up their psilocybin mushroom microdose protocols. And then I do microdose assisted therapeutic coaching sessions. And often that incorporate intimacy coaching. So I have a background in the sex coaching and relationship coaching space, and I infuse that into my medicine work. And I also identify as a witch. So I like to incorporate magic and ritual because those are very transformative, life-altering practices. And so I incorporate those into my coaching practice and teach people how to, let's say, do like a fire burning ritual to release that which is not serving them.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that so much.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for all of the things we're going to dive into and the many ways that this conversation can flow. I met Astrid back in December of 2022. We were at a retreat together, and she is just very magnetizing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we went through the same sex coach certification program, and we were there to learn how to facilitate retreats and events. And we do that by doing the work that we would be working with our clients. And we were partnered up on one of those, and we just shared a very beautiful experience together. And Astrid has this very easeful energy about her that as soon as you're in her energetic field, you're just immediately at peace. And
Thank you so much.
yeah. And one of the things that I wanted to share about that is you have a very feminine energy, and you said that's been something that you've really been tapping into. And I noticed that you were actually practicing it when we were planning to go to dinner. So Astrid was local to the retreat. A lot of us were from out of town, and we were trying to get together for dinner afterwards. And since Astrid was local, we were kind of leaning on her to help us find a spot. But, you know, when you're trying to coordinate with multiple people, I think we were like on restaurant 3 or something like that. And you owned it, and you said, I'm feeling overwhelmed. This is more masculine than I would like to be. I don't want to take this much direction. And I was like, oh, that's somebody who knows herself so incredibly well and spoke your truth in that moment. And we're like, no worries. Thank you for sharing that. We can figure it out from here. And that's when and then we had a great conversation at dinner too, which we'll tap into. But I just wanted to set the tone for the energy that you're bringing into this interview and why I was so excited to have you on here. because you said that this was a journey to get to.
Definitely. Yeah. Thank you so much for that beautiful reflection. And thank you for having me on your show today. It's an honor to be here. And I felt drawn to you as well. You're magnetic yourself. You're Scorpio, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Scorpios have that like hypnotic magnetism, that sex appeal. It's like all
thank you.
in it, and it's very natural. So I was drawn to you as well. So I'm really excited to be reconnecting. And in regards to the dinner and me voicing my truth in that moment, I think that I was feeling masculine and willing to take the lead to a point. And after doing that to a point, I was like, okay, this is feeling like too much for me. And I'm very good at advocating for myself. And that's something that I really want to and choose to empower others to do, to advocate for themselves and speak up like, hey, this is feeling overwhelming for me, or I've done as much as I can. My bandwidth and my capacity has been reached. Yeah. Thank you for seeing that and pointing it out. It was a journey. I was not always as good at balancing my masculine and feminine energies and owning both or speaking my truth. Yeah.
Do you mind sharing how you got started on that journey?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that I've always been on that journey without knowing it, as we are in life and we're navigating world and we see our parents, if we've lived with both of our parents growing up. I remember seeing how my mom would be and how my father would be. I lived in a very traditional household where my dad was the breadwinner and my mom was the homemaker and the mother. And so I had like pretty solid examples of like traditional masculine and feminine essence growing up. And I tried my best to emulate that. And at a certain point, I felt like it wasn't natural for me. And I actually was more gravitating towards the less traditional way of being feminine, being very like bold and assertive and a little more in what some would perceive as the masculine. And I almost went to the extreme though. Like I was like not soft, not feminine, not surrendered. And I went to the extreme version of being in my masculine or being in my very like empowered, dark feminine essence. And now since you met me and over the past like couple years, I've been in a state of coming back to equilibrium where I have healthy dynamic with my masculine energy and my power, but also can be soft and in flow and surrender. And yeah, it's fascinating how that works. I think the pendulum often swings, and that was my experience.
Yes. Yes. I want to touch on a couple of things you shared. One, I think as women, generalizing it, I think we're conditioned a lot to just take the overwhelm and overload our plate. And we don't feel like we can say anything about it. That's just how it is. And we just keep going. And so I think a lot of women, they don't feel like they can say anything about it. They can't speak their truth. Like, hey, I'm overwhelmed, because then it's complaining.
Yeah.
Or I need help.
Yeah. I saw that a lot in my mother. She did a great job raising all of us. And man, I'm the oldest of 5 children, and there were 4 in my home at the time throughout my childhood. But yeah, I could see her being overwhelmed and burnt out. And my dad was doing his best to provide and work. But I think that she wanted more support in the home. And I don't want to speak for her, but from my perspective, I witnessed what I would describe as like a loss of her individuality or identity.
Yeah.
And it was like very self-sacrificing, like constantly putting my father or us children over herself. And I think that because I witnessed that, I didn't want to be that way. I was like more, I'm going to be all about me and I'm going to be my power and be bold and assertive. But it went to an extreme place to where I wasn't willing to like be soft and be in my feminine and let men lead me in life. And I resented that. So now I've come to a place with more balance and equilibrium.
Yeah, let's tap into that more about the dynamic of the masculine, feminine in a partnership. So you said that you weren't allowing men to lead you. What does that mean?
I think that I tried my best because I wanted to model what I witnessed as a child in my first relationship. I was married in my early 20s. I got married very young at 21. And I'm now divorced. I got divorced at 26, almost 27. And I think I tried my best to let him lead me. But at a certain point, I resented letting him lead to my own detriment, not speaking up and advocating for myself or voicing, this is what I desire, or this is what I would prefer, or this is how I really feel. I would just like shove down my authentic feelings, thinking that was feminine and that was submissive, correct way to be, because that's a lot of what I witnessed growing up. And then eventually I ended up like snapping and being like, no more. This is how I really feel. This is what I want. I don't like the direction that you're leading us. So I'm going to go and lead myself. But the truth is, I never really gave him a chance to lead based on my authentic feedback because I wasn't in touch with my true feelings and I wasn't voicing the true feelings that I was in touch with. And it led to my relationship ending. And then some of those patterns continued in my next relationship. And I'm currently single. I'm not partnered. And as I move into dating again, I'm really keeping those things in mind because I'd like to authentically voice my thoughts and feelings, but also be open to guidance from the masculine and open to their provision and protection and some of those amazing masculine qualities and traits that I think that we need in society in general and in a healthy way, of course, in a healthy expression of those things. I'm very aware of the extremes that I went to in my past relationships that I'm in the process of integrating and embodying the lessons that I learned from those so that I can carry forward and have healthier relationships with the masculine moving forward with my own inner masculine and feminine so that I can have that reflected back to me through union with another.
Yeah, I was going to say we all have both masculine and feminine energies. And I would love to know your thoughts on this. And this is something that I've been observing and I've talked on the podcast a few times, like especially millennial women right now. We grew up with maybe moms in the workforce, or because our moms weren't in the workforce, we came in and we were like almost the opposite of what we grew up with, right? So we're like, I'm this independent. I can do anything myself. Like I can do anything a man can do. So I feel like a lot of millennial women came into their age having this mindset. Like you said, in your early 20s, you had a little bit more masculine energy, and that really can affect your partnership because then men are like, what do we do here? And then there can be resentment that forms in the relationship too, because there's not the opposites to counterbalance each other. It's too heavily weighted on one side. I don't know what you're hearing in that.
I'm hearing something that I relate to. Yeah, I do see that happening a lot in our generation and maybe even in younger generation. This boss babe, like I don't need men, ultra feminist, independent, because maybe we saw our moms sacrificing and burnt out and being more traditional, or maybe even our grandmothers in those roles. But it's like the pendulum swing. Like our mothers or grandmothers were so submissive, so burnt out, not asking for help, not having that healthy masculine within themselves to advocate for what they desired and just being like doormats.
Yeah.
And then our generation, we kind of swung the pendulum to this ultra like independent boss babe. I can do anything a man can do. I don't need a man kind of energy. Yeah. And I tried to be like my mother and grandmother, but then I was resenting it. And then I swung the other way and I was the boss babe, like ultra independent. And now I'm in this place where I'm like, no, I do need men. I love men. Like our society cannot function without them. Every day, the roads that we drive on were paved by men. The house that I live in was probably built by a man or many men. And I just am seeing the masculine, not for the pain that's been caused from the masculine throughout history any longer. Now I'm viewing them through this lens of like compassion and love as like human beings that are doing their best and that have learned a lot through things being passed down. And I just see them for their brilliance. And I know that they're different than the feminine, but I need them. I love them. Desire more healthy masculine presence in my life. Yeah. Within myself and my friends and a lover. So yeah, I feel like it's a healthy place for me to be versus one or the other extreme of not needing men or like relying on men so much, but then resenting them for it. It's more harmonious, right?
Yeah.
I have my interdependence, like not independence, but interdependence state of I know who I am. I'm in my individuality and I'm sovereign. And at the same time, I desire partnership and guidance and protection and provision from a man and just masculine presence, consciousness. Because I think true healthy masculinity is pure consciousness, right? That steady rock. That's my best way of describing it right now.
Yeah, that's a beautiful description. And I love that. And that is what I desire for so many couples to have and to find. And the clients and couples that Mark and I work with together, that's what we're helping them to cultivate too. Say that men and women have different languages they speak and we don't hear each other. So we help couples to create their common language so that they both feel heard and validated and supported. And part of that is tapping into your masculine and feminine and knowing how you guys like energetically dance together.
Yeah,
I love
definitely. I
So
think that's beautiful, speaking different languages. That's a good way to describe it.
thank you. So as you noticed this from your previous marriage, what are some things you started to implement? Like you said, the pendulum swung really hard the other way. Like, how did you decide to come back to equilibrium?
I think that I was more like suppressing my truth in my first serious relationship in my marriage. And I was very unconscious. I wasn't aware of these concepts or anything like that
Yeah.
at the time. And I was very young. So I have full compassion for that version of myself. I was in my early 20s, but I was very unconscious. And so I wasn't speaking my truth. And then I eventually blew up and was like, I can't do this anymore. And I just left my marriage. And I continued a lot of those same patterns in my next relationship. I was like more so speaking my truth and more so being my authentic self and in relating to the masculine and not just people pleasing. However, there was still some of that happening where I would allow the masculine to lead me in a direction that didn't feel good to me or safe to me, or I was giving my power to the masculine that maybe was not worthy of leading me. He wasn't actually a healthy expression of the masculine. A lot of similar dynamics continued in my next relationship where things weren't very healthy on either end, mine or his. And it wasn't until a few years into that relationship that I started to really have this like consciousness expansion and this spiritual awakening. And I started to learn about like Tantra and polarity and be on this healing path working with plant medicine. And through that was when I really started to realize like my own shadow and also the shadow of the masculine, and really began to observe those things and integrate them and to come into more balance within my inner polarity of the masculine and feminine. And I think ultimately that relationship had to end for me to now be where I'm at. I ended that relationship last year. And once that relationship ended, I've really been able to come into a place of wholeness within myself and figure out what my inner expression of feminine and inner expression of masculine is that is healthy and authentic and true. So the next phase of my evolution is going to be practicing these things in relationship again.
Yeah.
I think also like being more discerning about what men I choose to let lead me.
Yeah. Can you share? So, say a woman listening now is maybe in a similar spot where she's like, yes, I am like suppressing everything. I'm not speaking my truth. I don't know how to voice myself. What are some things that they can start looking into or start implementing? How can they start tapping into this and be more aware
Yeah.
themselves?
I think that I would say to these women, first of all, amazing job that you've started to have an awareness that you're not using your voice and not speaking your truth. And I think that it would be important for them to get really clear on what their truth is. So maybe that could be through journaling, like journal prompts, like getting very clear on what it is that you need to say to your partner if you're not in partnership, what it is that you're looking for in a partner, or what it is that you desire to create in your life in general. I actually have a process around this that I do through the microdose assisted coaching sessions. The very first session is around like desire, getting clear on who you are and what you desire to create in your life. If you're trying to connect with a lover out of a place of non-clarity, of you're not sure what you desire, you're not sure who you are, then you're going to attract people that are going to mirror that to you. And it will be more confusing.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to know who you are and exactly what you want and practice speaking that before even like getting into partnership. Or if you are in partnership, you can start to practice those things together and evolve together. It's never too late, as I'm sure you have been on that journey in your marriage and see it with your clients. So and I would just start practicing. Maybe if you are in partnership, ask your partner, can we like start to sit down and have some conversations, some heart to heart? I'm realizing new things about myself. I desire to share them with you, and I want to get to know you and your truth better, because usually it's a mirror. if you're holding back things and you're holding back your authentic expression, they probably are on some level too, because you're both afraid of being rejected. Because ultimately, we don't speak our truth because we're afraid to lose love.
Yeah.
We all just desire love, and we're afraid that if we are fully honest about whatever it is we desire, whether that be to try something new and kinky in the bedroom or a fear or a shadow that we want to be witnessed in and healed and helped heal it, whatever that is, we're afraid to express it because we don't want to lose love. And that's our ego helping us to keep us safe. But we have to soothe that part of our ego and be like, okay, thank you for trying to keep me safe, but I'm going to open and express myself now and know that it's safe to do so. And if our healthy expression isn't received, I'm not giving permission to yell and get crazy. Like, I blew up. I held everything in for so long in my first relationship that eventually I just blew up. I'm not saying that's okay, but if you can sit down and have a healthy conversation about it and just express your needs and your desires and be heard. And if the person doesn't receive it, then that doesn't say anything bad about you. You were being honest. You were being authentic. It just might show that there's a misalignment in your connection. And there's someone out there who will love your truth and love your authentic expression. Yeah.
Yeah. I think feeling of rejection, and when you're with somebody, ultimately you want them to be your partner, your number one fan in all things. And if you can't be your truest, fullest self with them, then there's some work that needs to be done there. And that's what I hope for so many people, that they have that with their partner, because that's what they should be.
Yeah, 100%. And I think a lot of times in my personal experience, when I haven't felt accepted by someone, it was a reflection because I wasn't accepting that part of myself. Or maybe they're not accepting and loving parts of themselves, and it's coming out in a projection towards me. And so there's a lot of different angles in which you can look at that. It's hard not to take rejection personally because it stings, it hurts. Like, we desire to be accepted and loved, and that's totally natural. And we're all worthy of that and deserving of that. As humans, we need that. But rejection's also like redirection, right?
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, it can be a blessing.
Doesn't make it any less painful.
No, of course.
But it does when you get past it and you realize, oh, okay, that is why this happened, because now I am where I'm at and it's part of the journey.
Yeah, I think that I rejected myself for so long in my first marriage, my truth and how I really wanted to live and express myself, because I knew that he wouldn't support that exploration and that expression. And eventually I was a volcano and I exploded, and I was like, wow, I really need to go live my authentic truth. And he obviously was not okay with it. And I wasn't the most tactful in my ways of expressing that rejection or dissolution of our marriage, like us rejecting each other and choosing to divorce. While it was one of the most painful experiences of my life, and I carried a lot of shame and a lot of guilt after my marriage ended for years, I punished myself because of the shame that I felt for that failure. Now I don't view it as a failure. I view it as that was an experience, and it was a highly evolutionary experience that helped me to grow and become the woman that I am today. And I love the woman that I am today. So it was a blessing, and I've since spoken to him, and now he's grateful for that. It helped him evolve. And I often think from the most painful experiences and rejections, that's fertile soil for us to sprout new leaves and to grow in a new direction. And I witnessed that in myself and in him. So if you are in a place, if anyone listening is in a place of rejection or going through a separation or divorce, I just want to say, please don't beat yourself up and carry that shame and guilt. Have compassion and be gentle with yourself and for all parties involved, because you're doing the best that you can. And even if you don't think that you were doing the best that you can, you were for the level of your consciousness at the time. And you can learn from that, and you can even do better in the future. So yeah, have grace.
Yeah, that's the theme of this podcast, intimacy evolution. we change as people, we evolve over time. It's natural that our relationships are going to do that as well. And it's okay if sometimes that evolution is taking you and your partner apart. It doesn't, again, mean it's any less hurtful, but I think, again, staying true to yourself and honoring that growth in yourself. Yes, you can grow together, but sometimes you are only meant to be together for a certain time for that evolution.
Yeah, I think it's like a karmic soul contract. Like I believe that myself and my former partner, my former husband, we had a karmic soul bond to come together for a certain period of our lives. And once that journey was complete, it was time for me to have a karmic connection with someone else. And my last partner, who I was with after my marriage ended up until last year, that was one of the hardest relationships of my life. It was much more tumultuous than my marriage even was. And I'm so grateful for it because it forced me to evolve. It forced me to grow. And I could not be who I am today, supporting the humans that I'm supporting in my business or anything without those experiences. It was like an intimacy evolution. And it helped me to evolve so that I can have even deeper intimacy in the near future with my next lover.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So what are some things that you try to do regularly, or how do you make sure you're tapping into your feminine essence? We'll start there.
Perfect. So for me, the number one thing that I do is have a very healthy inner dialogue. My self-talk, the way that I speak to myself is a non-negotiable. I will encourage everyone to talk to yourself the way that you would talk to a friend or a child or a lover, like how you desire for your parents, your lovers, your friends to speak to you and how you would speak to them. Speak to yourself that way. So when you're feeling scared, like that little girl that was scared as a child is still within you. So speak to her, even envision her in your mind, speak to her and say, I know you're scared right now. Like for me, I was nervous to film this podcast today and I talked to her and I was like, I know you're nervous right now, but you can do it. I've got you. You're going to do your best. You're going to have fun. And even if it doesn't go perfectly, that's okay because nothing is perfect, but you're doing your best and you're going to show up and it's going to be great. So really loving yourself. And that's like a very lighthearted example of that inner dialogue, but it can be much more intense. Like sometimes if I'm crying on the floor and I'm feeling heartbroken and devastated, I'm telling her I love you. I've got you. You didn't lose love because I still love you. I'm here with you. And I think that's the number one thing is speaking to that little girl inside of me, speaking to the woman inside of me and telling her as I'm dating, no, you deserve exactly what you desire and you're worthy of that and you can find it. It does exist, and reminding her of that. So that's the best way, I think, to just get to know my inner feminine and cultivate this healthy, beautiful relationship with her just through my mindset and through my inner dialogue. But there are beautiful physical practices as well. And they're more on the pleasure or tantric side, feminine exploration, like breast massage, yoni de-armoring, working with the jade egg. Those are things that are a regular part of my life and really help me to connect to my feminine essence, my heart, my womb. And without them, I don't think that I'd be where I am now because they've been so deeply healing and nourishing and they continue to be.
Yeah.
My favorite would probably be breast massage, really getting some coconut oil, making a whole ritual out of it, lighting some incense or a candle, getting out of the shower, drenching myself in coconut oil, massaging my whole body, really making love to myself and massaging my breasts very tenderly, working my way all the way up to the center of the breast, not just going straight to nipple play or something like that, but massaging the sides of my body, my chest, working around the breast, and then gradually working towards the areola or the nipple. And it's very heart opening. And sometimes emotions can arise. You can release tension that's been stuck in the body. Yeah. But it cracks my heart open and helps me connect to my true feminine essence.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's very special. And I recommend it to everyone.
Yeah. Everybody listening, that's your homework assignment. Okay. So do a breath massage.
Yeah. Love yourself. And typically it will transform into like from just like a beautiful healing practice of breast massage and just loving my body. And it can be like turn into a self-pleasure journey. And it's really beautiful, like continuing the massage down until you get to the yoni and taking the same like tenderness and care with your pussy too. Yeah.
Yeah. I think from what I've observed from a lot of women that I've worked, we think of self-pleasure. We just think of either manual stimulation, using a toy vibrator, and just keeping it all focused down
Very
in the pelvis.
pittoral.
Yeah. But it's giving yourself love and knowing your body, appreciating your body and exploring. And then you get to share, if you are partnered, you can share that with them too. Be like, ooh, I discovered this new way. I really loved it. Or just have them do that as well. They can just give you a nice, gentle massage and they can explore with you and you can create a connection that way. There's just so much more than just like genital connection.
No, 100%. I really cultivated a practice of making love to myself, like touching, caressing, breathing life into every part of my body and loving myself the way that I desire for the masculine to come into my life and love me. And I have deep compassion and understanding of my past self that didn't know that she needed that and would feel frustrated and project that frustration out towards my partner. I forgive her and I forgive my partners. They were doing their best, but I didn't know that I needed that. And most women need a lot more like foreplay and like gentleness and like loving touch to really get warmed up and like open and receptive to pleasure. But these practices don't even have to lead to orgasm. They can literally just be to love your body and to give back to yourself and connect to your feminine essence. And but if they do lead to orgasm, then hey, enjoy yourself. We need that too. So I'm looking forward to in the future, like now that I know myself and know how to love myself, I can teach my future partner, if he doesn't already know, like how to slowly and deliciously make love to me the way that I make love to myself.
100%. Yes.
Bonus points if you do this in front of a mirror.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, like really like admire every part of your body and learn to accept and love every part of your body. I used to have severe like body dysmorphia and didn't like to see myself because I was comparing myself to these like models or celebrities or different people, right? And I was able to heal that comparison wound by learning to fall in love with my own body and accept my own body and view her as the precious gift that she is.
Yeah. Mirror work is very powerful. What would you suggest to a woman that is like, okay, that sounds great, but I'm not comfortable with that? Like, where can they begin?
With a mirror, with breast massage, or with what?
Any of that. Maybe they're like, I don't think I'm full on ready to give a full breast massage right now. What is an easy way that they can start easing into that?
I would say connecting with the breath, maybe just like breathing into that space, really breathing into the chest space. There are different yoga poses that you can do as well that would help open up the chest space. Even drinking cacao, which is what I've been drinking on this. You can get ceremonial grade cacao. There's an amazing place here in Austin called Third Eye Cacao Lounge that you can purchase it online as well. But drinking that, it's very heart opening medicine and it can connect you with this space. But gradually working your way up. Maybe at first you leave your bra on and you're just like caressing your arms or caressing your body, just gradually working your way towards a full-on breast massage. And the first few times that I did it, it was hard for me. Like I was crying. I didn't necessarily know what I was doing. I was like, am I doing this right? But like just slowing down, breathing, gentle caressing and working your way up to a deeper massage and just listening to your body, trusting yourself to know that you do know how to take care of yourself. Like you do know how to love yourself. We all know how. We've just forgotten and we're in the process of remembering. So being gentle with yourself, knowing that you're remembering and it's coming back to you. These are ancient practices that women have been doing for a very long time. Tantric, Taoist practices that have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that we have to remember that these practices used to be taught and passed down from like mother to daughter in society. And we don't have like wise women elders in our current modern American culture that we used to have many eons ago. I don't know exactly the year or anything like that, but we used to have like temples where tantric priestesses would teach these things to other women and initiate them into womanhood. And we don't have that. And like it's no one's fault. Like it's just been our mothers didn't know, our grandmothers didn't know, maybe some did, but mine didn't. And how could they teach me something that they didn't know and they hadn't remembered yet? And so now I've remembered and I can pass this on to my daughter and I can talk to you about it and teach my clients about it. And I think we have to forgive ourselves and society in general for not teaching us how to love ourselves.
Yeah. I love how you explained that. That is true. Like this goes beyond, like you said, it's an ancestral, it's in us. We just have to remember it.
It's womb wisdom. Like it is deep within our womb. We know exactly what to do to love ourselves and to make love to ourselves, to care for our body, to birth children, to take care of children. Like we know, like we have deep inner feminine knowing. That's one of the biggest gifts of the feminine is deep intuition. And it's learning to trust that again and to listen to that. And that's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. So be patient with yourself on this journey and just listen to those subtleties. I feel like often that intuition, it's very subtle. Oh, this touch feels nice. Let me like do a little more of that. Or, oh, that's a little too much. Let me slow down and try something different.
Yeah.
Just kind of experiment. It's not about getting it perfect. It's about experimenting and seeing what feels good. Yeah. Being curious. Get curious.
Yes. Get curious, explore, have fun, play. Sex is supposed to be fun. It's not like a test that you have to get right. And again, take orgasm off the table and just be in the experience and try new things and
just breathe.
Yeah.
Just take a deep breath, relax into it. Like it's meant to make you feel good. And sometimes even like emotions will need to be released in the process. But as you cry and clear that out, like notice how you feel. Do you feel lighter? Do you feel happier? Is the touch more enjoyable after that? I have a feeling that it could be.
Yeah. A crygasm.
Yeah, literally.
They're so powerful. So good.
It's another form of release, right?
Yeah. Sometimes you don't know what's been stored in your body that you needed that. And as you start having that physical connection, you're moving that energy that is stored and it is coming out in a way that it needs to.
Yeah.
And
emotion is energy in motion. So that energy can get stuck. And as we move it, it can move and the emotion can come out and it might come out like a flood or it might just come out a little at a time. And you don't have to know why you're crying. Like give yourself permission. Like you don't have to know why emotion is rising. And it could be laughter. Like it doesn't have to be tears. You could end up laughing and feeling full bliss and like feeling ecstasy in a breast massage or a yoni massage as well. Yeah. But I think that I would also say that breathe into that feeling and be with it and know that you're safe to feel it and express it. I'm typically doing this work on my own. And I think that's a good place to start is doing it on your own. And then as you get to know yourself, then inviting a partner into these rituals.
The body is truly amazing. You never know what's going to come through.
Yeah.
But it's what needs to come
wise.
through.
Yeah.
So
wise.
Oh, this is so good.
Yeah. Thank you.
I love this. Yeah. Is there anything else that is on your heart or that you would like to share?
Good question. I'm just really enjoying this conversation. It's been very beautiful. I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to share some of my evolution with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just want to remind everyone to be compassionate with yourself and to have grace and empathy for all parts of yourself, the full spectrum of your expression and your evolution, because we just need more of that. We need to be as kind to ourselves as we desire others to be kind to us or as we would treat others. I think that's usually, in my experience, like I was like, oh, I'll be kind to my family or my friends or my boyfriend, but I would forget to be kind to myself. And it's like, why don't we start there? And then it's so much easier to be kind to everyone else. And also by doing that, you set the standard because you won't accept someone being mean to you because you're no longer mean to yourself. Because you're like, oh, like I don't speak to myself that way. So why would I accept this treatment from someone else? So it's really a practice of cultivating deep self-respect. Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Please tell everybody where they can find you, connect with you.
Yeah. So I am on Instagram and YouTube at Trip on Astrid. It's TripOnAstrid, Trip on Astrid. And connect with me there. I have a link tree. It's the same link tree /Trip on Astrid. And you can find all of my goodies there as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Astrid, for joining us today and sharing your story. And I definitely look forward to having you on a future episode to talk about more stuff that you are working on. This was such a beautiful conversation. I would love to hear how this episode resonated with you. Please send me a DM on Instagram or an email afterwards letting me know what you thought of the show. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you next week.